I meant somebody else, probably Chris.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. We're live.
Oh, we are live? Holy shit, we are.
We're live.
Oh,
whoa.
Dylan, you jerk.
Drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody.
Oh, he wants to go off road.
Are you gonna shoot that shot when you get the land?
Yo, he was right on my ass, man.
You wide open.
Who wrote this? I did.
Ask him if you got the letter.
Did you get the letter?
What letter?
What's up, man?
About to catch a fade, huh?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. Living dead.
Drop these. Everybody.
Let the hate flow through you.
Hello?
There's a screen. There's something. We're reviewing The Breakfast Club, at least.
Hey,
There
there
we
we
go.
go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we're in the infinite void, aren't we?
Our director is
Hilarious.
incompetent.
There we go.
There we go.
That's fair. Yeah.
Our normal director is out with.
I'm clicking all the wrong buttons here, guys, just so you know. Things are real crazy on my end. I'm not sure why things are negative. Like, it's just black and white on my screen right now. Anyway, Mr. Dan Levely, go ahead, please. Sorry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into The Real Boys. And today we are reviewing my number 4-ish movie, The Breakfast Club. So we've tried this before. Actually, we've scheduled this. This is our third time scheduling this, so I think we might actually get through it this time, guys.
If we can get through 30 minutes, I'll be happy.
Yes. If we get through
call
30
it an
minutes, you can just
episode.
paste the two together and call it good.
There we go.
Yeah, let's just talk about the end of the movie and then
Right.
piece
The
the
middle.
first one together.
The middle and the end of the movie. All right. The Breakfast Club is 5 high school students from different walks of life spend a Saturday detention together, only to find out they're not all different. And
Really?
it stars Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall, and Ally Sheedy, and Paul Gleason. So, first of all, what did you guys think of this movie? Like, did it bring back any fond memories like it did to me? Because this is all high school all over again.
That wasn't my high school. So, no, I hated high school. I think most podcasters did as well, because we were on the outskirts of school. We were the nerds. We weren't the popular ones. We got made fun of or bullied, or traumatic events are now coming back into my head. Thank you so much for making me relive those things with this movie. No. The movie's fun, but it did not remind me of high school at all, because I would watch it. I'm like, that's not fucking high school. They're like 30 already.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Didn't really connect for me with high school.
Yeah, I think we covered this in the last episode, but yeah, all these characters are roughly above age.
Roughly?
Yeah,
always
there's
Saying it
two.
nicely.
There's
yeah.
two that are like a reasonable age to play high school students.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're fucking 25.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when the first scene opens up, I guess this is like one of the 5 scenes in this movie, I guess, and everyone's getting dropped off at detention, and Judd Nelson almost gets hit by a car. Emilio Estevez's dad is pretty much saying, you screwed up and got caught, so now you have to deal with it. So I think Emilio Estevez's dad is pretty much a bad role model. Like, anybody else think about that?
Yeah.
So how he used to screw around in high school?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these dads are bad role models. A lot of
Yeah.
these kids are bad role models. You've
The whole
actually
movie is
missed.
a bad role model.
Yeah, that is true.
It makes the movie bad role models look like good role models.
Yeah,
So
if you're
for someone
you're
like
modeling-
me, oh god,
if you're modeling your roles after this movie, like you got some.
Problems.
It's just the movie's not bad. Like I don't have any problem with this movie. I had a fun time watching it. It's fine, but this is like the 5 like stereotypes of high school, clique archetypes just boiled down into 5 different people. And you just have basically
the guy, the jock, the nerds, and the outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
but but the weird thing is, like, this movie is pretty much, it's about like people that are sitting in classes, right? Like the hierarchy of classes. There's each of these people you just said. Now the movie is supposed to be these people sitting in a place where it they're allowed to not be in this hierarchy. They're allowed to be normal people for once. But the thing is that the hero of the story, who's Judd Nelson, he's the one who really instills the hierarchy again. He's the one who's like, well, I'm a bad boy, and I'm tough, and I'm a lot of masculine, rapey stuff. But yeah, so it's a dude. He's aggressive.
True.
He's aggressive.
Yeah.
Dude, he's aggressively rapey. He's gross.
Highly aggressive in this movie.
Yeah, when you look at like behind the scenes stuff, apparently he was like trying to be in character, and he would go into different stores as his character, and he said, and he quoted, "The looks I would give women were so weird they started calling the cops on me." Like, he is a bad person. There's actually a scene cut out of the movie where they're supposed to be looking at a gym teacher who's naked, and apparently every female cast member was like, I cannot do this scene, like I cannot handle this, and they had to fire the actor who was playing that gym teacher, and she still got paid, but whatever. But yeah, so this movie
She
is
didn't have to show off. She got paid.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody's dream, right?
But a couple weird things in the very, very beginning of the movie that I saw upon this rewatch. So when I watched it a long time ago, I was like, yeah, this is a fine movie, whatever. It is one of the few plotless movies where like nothing happens. It's
a Seinfeld movie.
Yeah, it's weird. But if you look in the very beginning, there's like flashes of like school stuff. And if you look, one of the flashes is of lockers. And you can actually see the locker that Brian's flare gun, or not Brian, the what's his face's flare gun, like burned up.
Brian.
So, I saw that for the first time. I also happened to notice that if you look in the display case in the very front, there's a Man of the Year plaque, and it is the same guy who is the janitor later on. So when he was in high school, he was Man of the Year. Now he's the janitor of that class. And also in the very beginning, there's a thing that says, I don't like Mondays, which apparently is a reference to a pretty bad school shooting that happened in 1978, where a guy gave his daughter a gun, and they asked her why she shot all these people, and they're like, I don't like Mondays. So there are some weird behind the scenes stuff that he was trying to put in this movie that I only noticed on this very last rewatch.
Yeah. That I Don't Like Mondays was made into a very cool song by the Boomtown Rats. Wonderful. It's a great song.
Cool.
I definitely recommend everyone check that song out.
By the way, hi Tina. I don't know if we actually.
Yeah, hi Tina.
Hi.
I was talking.
One of our biggest supporters.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have like all these people from different walks of life and everything, and like Zach said, it's pretty much everyone just as equal for one day. Now, at the end, you have Brian saying that, "Are you think we're all gonna be friends after this?" And everyone's just pretty much Molly Ringwald's character just pretty much is like, no. Like, no, fuck you. But do you think that maybe hypothetically going into like the future, do you think these guys would like at least nod at each other in the hallway?
For the first couple of weeks, maybe there'll be a nod, a friendly nod, just like, yeah, we went through something really stupid and crazy, and then it's just going to dissipate over time. And by the end of the year, they're going to be like, who the fuck are you? Why are you next to me?
Right.
That was my Molly Ringwald impression, by the way. Wasn't
That's
good.
pretty good. Good job.
Thank you. Solid. Yes.
Solid. It works. It's like jerk. She's got to say jerks.
Yeah. Such a jerk.
But
Yeah,
but
no.
just gotta jump it around here, guys. But and this essay, they're supposed to write something about who they think they are. Was that correct?
Why are
Did I
you
get that wrong
giving
again?
high school children
Who they think they
existential questions like that? Like,
Right.
I don't even know who the fuck I am, and I'm
Yeah.
36. Like,
because that's a bad teacher who also doesn't know who he is,
he's trying to
but
figure it out.
is faking it. So
Don't mess with
and
the bull,
thinks
you
that
get
everybody
horns.
should just be like him and just internalize everything and fucking be a dick to everyone.
Right.
You had a great high school, I can tell, Mike.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like you said, we had like 10 people in our friend group, and otherwise it was a bunch of jocks who didn't want anything to do with us and made fun of us relentlessly. And that was just sort of high school. I was definitely an Ally Sheedy in high school. Like that was where
Were you doing
I
the
sat in high
dandruff?
school.
Were you doing the dandruff? Snow?
Absolutely.
The snowflakes?
Since Michael brought it up, who does everyone relate? Whose character does everyone relate to in this movie? Like, because on behalf of jocks everywhere, I want to apologize to Michael and Phil and probably everybody on this cast, because yes, we were assholes, but I can't give you a good reason for it, just because we were assholes. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was an art and drama kid, so I was Ally Sheedy as well. But I also played baseball, so I didn't really get picked on.
Right. What about Jerry and Mr. Quiet down there? How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm just soaking it up, man. I'm taking it in.
Right. What character did you relate to in this movie when you were in high school?
Probably the jock, but I was not an asshole.
I'm Michael Anthony Hall's character, the nerdy good two shoes boy. That's who I was.
Nerdy guy. Yeah.
I was the goody two shoes, and then I left high school and entered the real world, and then I became an asshole.
And then you became the asshole. See,
then I became the
to all
asshole
of us
because of
eventually.
capitalism. Everyone's an asshole.
And we got pretty much the first showdown between principal. What's his or Mr. Gleason's name?
Richard Vernon.
Richard Vernon. Dick
Vernon.
But we had the first showdown between Mr. Vernon and John Bender. And pretty much John Bender just tells him that his Barry Manilow raids his closet, pretty much. And he gets another detention for it. And then I think there was a little break, and then there was a little ongoing thing with Michael and Emilio and Molly, but we're not going to talk about that because it's pointless. And because nothing happens. It's just a bunch of talk. Pretty much the screw comes out of the door, and that's it. Followed by a bunch of yammers.
I think you just summed up this movie, Dan. Nothing happens, and it's a lot of talking.
That's why.
Like this was pretty much high school, like where nothing happened. Nobody really learned anything. People thought like it feels like these people felt like they learned something, but at the end of the day, like Phil said, it's just gonna go away. There's no way that these people stay friends. There's no way that anything comes of this, because in high school, these like the relationships that you form are for the most part meaningless. Like you're not going to see most of the high school people after school. And most, like I said, in high school, I knew maybe 10 people. The rest of them, I knew their names because, they were in classes with me. But otherwise, like people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, do you remember this person from high school?" I'm like, fucking no.
Get a yearbook out. Which
yearbook.
one, please?
I didn't get yearbooks either because I didn't give a fuck about these people.
Damn, you really are punk rock.
I never got a yearbook either.
I only got it on my last.
I don't just say that I'm punk rock.
You are punk rock. I got it because I was the goody two shoes, and I was like, I need to have this for my memory thing. So I did have it. So I'm not punk rock at all. So far,
we can tell that.
Is it the shirt? Is it the Bill Murray shirt? Is that
Bill
what
Murray
it is?
shirt? Yeah, exactly. What else we got? Like the whole conversation, like all this is like a big conversation. This movie was so hard to review because of it's all conversation.
It's a Kevin Smith movie. It's
yeah,
like
that's what I
Clerk.
figured
It's
that we
nothing
were
but
just
dialogue.
doing like a convo about it. But so we had that showdown between him and he's like he eat my shorts, that infamous line, eat my shorts. Bart Simpson uses it. So and he gets like 8 detentions. And he's like 7, and even the principal is like the bully in this fucking movie.
Yeah,
because then he calls Brian. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "Zip it, Pipsqueak," or Pee Wee. There you go.
Hey, do you think that he gets detention over and over again because he does not want to be at home with his dad?
More than likely, yeah.
More than likely, he doesn't want to be at home.
Yeah.
It's something to do on a Saturday, you know. Hey, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm just going to the school to do my mandatory detention. Have a nice day. It's kind of like,
right.
What's wrong with you?
Like he has to do it.
Yeah, like Ally Sheedy, her characters, like at the end, she's like, "Do you know why I'm here?" And she goes, everyone's like, "No." And she goes, "I didn't do anything. I didn't have anything else better to do."
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
her
character is a liar throughout the entire thing, though. So there's also a chance that she just lied about that too.
Like a compulsive liar.
She's probably
sex with a shrink.
in detention because of lying.
Right.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
You know, she's a compulsive liar.
Right. Now, do you guys think that Jonathan Bender has been in that closet a couple of times? Because he kind of knew his way around the ceiling to get back to the library.
He's probably been all around that place.
Because he was even timing his steps with a joke. Like I noticed that too when he was doing his joke, he was timing his steps with it. I was like, "That's smart. That's a smart kid." We used to go up in the ceiling in our art room in high school, and we used to go in the ceiling and smoke weed up there. No one found us. No one found us.
Someone just walks into the art room. Why does it smell like weed?
The art room always smelled like weed.
Yep.
True.
Right where
well, not mine. My whole school smelled like weed. Oh,
we had a kiln in our art room, so there was a vent, and we just go up there by the kiln.
Cool.
Oh, aren't you fucking fancy with your?
That was
kiln?
that was a smart way to do that.
I went to Freeland. It's not that. It's not that.
Hey,
fancy.
I didn't have any kiln in my school. Okay, we lost our auto department. We had like a trade type school to learn how to take care of your car and stuff like that. And they got rid of that, but the room was then used for ITT, which you made fucking gumball machines.
In your high school, you had an auto repair department? That sounds pretty fucking fancy to me, dude.
No, when I got there, it wasn't there anymore. It was like previous generations. Like it used to be there, but now the room, the fucking garage that they had is now just like the loading dock for everything. And you sit at these industrial desks and you look behind you and they're like, the fuck, we can be building a car. Let's build a fucking car. That's useful. I don't need to know how to make a gumball machine. That's not useful in my life.
Really? I mean,
ask me how many
useful
gumball
in
machines
some
I've made.
people's lives.
How many cars have you made?
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever look?
Like building a gumball machine, schmilding a schmumball machine, like that's just teaching you how to make stuff the same way that the auto department, the auto department,
I can actually learn how to change the fucking oil instead of spending money changing oil. I can learn how to change my tires, change my brakes, take care of a car instead of having to go to someone else. Mind you, I'd pay for someone to do that anyways.
That's what YouTube is for, though.
Yeah, but this was pre-YouTube.
This is pre-YouTube.
It's 2003. YouTube wasn't even a glimmer in anybody's eyes.
Right. All right, guys, let's jump to lunchtime because this is the other funny part that I like them in this movie. Like everyone has their own separate lunch. John Bender doesn't have a lunch. He has the soda that he got from the cafeteria or from the teacher's lounge or whatever. Anthony Michael Hall's characters got the soup sandwich, the milk, cookies, all that good stuff.
Good boy food.
Yep. And Molly Ringwald's eating sushi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why is sushi such a joke in like 80s movies? It's like people pull out sushi and it's like, whoa, sushi.
Yeah, it was like the high fashion food of like the early 80s, like mid 80s. Like if you were eating sushi, you like people thought you flew to France to get it. It's ridiculous.
Tokyo
or Maine.
No, well, people just didn't know, so they thought
true.
she flew to France. To get
Yeah,
the
it's like
sushi.
where's a fancy place? Like that's probably
Yeah.
French.
France.
Yeah. Also, Anthony Michael Hall. Don't forget his crust was cut off of his
Oh
sandwich.
yeah, yep,
His
that's true.
mom,
Yep.
he's a full mama's boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Weird thing is, like in that movie, the mom and the sister are played by his actual mom and sister, which is weird. But
I wonder
whatever.
if she made the soup and the sandwich for him that day.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Oh, that would be adorable.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope that's what happened.
Yeah, for real.
I think I've
Just start making
softened
him a
the
sandwich.
punk rocker a little bit. Oh my god. I think I'm starting to see cracks.
Just because I'm a punk rocker doesn't mean I don't like it when my mom makes me soup and sandwiches.
Yeah, for real.
Who doesn't really? Soup from mom and a sandwich from mom is like the best.
We did skip right through both of the laughs that I had in this movie. Like this movie
you
is
had
good,
this Harvey moment.
but yeah, there were only two parts where I like laughed out loud, and that was when Principal Vernon tries to put the chair in the door and it just goes flying across the room. Actual laugh, like I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
And then when Bender has got his switchblade out and he stabs it into the chair, and then you just see Ally Sheedy like sneak in from the corner and just pull it out and take it. I was like,
she also
that was
steals
fucking
his lock.
brilliant.
Yeah.
She also steals his lock off his locker.
Yeah, I hope that was like improvised by her and that they just
That would
left
be
it in, because that was genius.
Yeah. So Bender's character, though, that was like one of the most sought after roles in Hollywood at that time, because like John Hughes was like hot off of 16 Candles, and people were like, "Oh, this is going to be a big thing." But he wanted Nicolas Cage to be Bender, and apparently they couldn't meet Nicolas Cage's money. So then John Cusack was actually cast and was like doing like the read-throughs with John Cusack, but apparently nobody they couldn't really get anyone to play the other role, Emilio Estevez's role. Then he was actually ended up cast after what's his face was. So then Emilio Estevez was Bender. Nobody would play the jock role. So then Emilio Estevez hopped over to play that role, and then Jim Carrey applied to be Bender, which was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, so there was so many people that went after all these roles because this was supposed to be like just the hottest thing, of the time.
Yeah,
and it was.
It was a Josh Whedon or Zack Snyder style level of director, and he has great movies for people who grew up in that period of time that he sets his movies. But yeah, his movies don't work too much today.
I could see Nicolas Cage being great as Bender in this, but John Cusack, I don't think. John Cusack's a very specific type of actor. I don't think he would have been great in that role. He probably would have been good as the jock, but not as Bender.
Yeah.
It seems like that John Cusack is almost in all the roles that we on these movies that we review, though.
Yeah,
his name does pop up a lot.
I mean,
it's John Cusack.
Yeah,
That's
he was the hotness in the 80s. Like
early
everybody
90s,
wanted John Cusack in their movies.
Yeah.
All right, and so we have the lunchtime, and Emilio Estevez's lunch is like a fucking grocery store. He's got donuts, he's got a bag of chips, he's got like 3 sandwiches.
He has to put on that
cookies,
energy, man. He has
a
those
banana,
calories he has
an
to
apple, and the look that that Judd Nelson gives him, and right at the end, that little smirk that he gives him, that made me chuckle too. And it's like just that little look, just like okay. But and another thing is that I want to know where Principal Vernon get Bruce's coffee, because that shit was black. I mean, this was like motor oil out of like a 1972 Delta or something.
It may have just been old. I mean, it may have been yesterday's coffee that he like nuked back up in the microwave.
Yeah, that's it. That looked like molasses. It was gross.
Or maybe he put too much coffee into the straining type. I don't know. I don't make coffee. Fuck if I know. I don't drink it. Yeah, there we go.
Filter.
Thank you. The filter when he was brewing the coffee. Wow, they make coffee.
And that leads to the hallway, the locker. Where everyone's going to Jonathan Bender's locker to get some weed, even though they don't know it. But this is like, I think the third scene in this entire movie, and then there's the basement and a closet, and that's it. But the hallway scene.
Don't forget the outside of the school. The when Judd Nelson is walking away at the end, throwing up his fist for some odd reason, like
the football field. Yep.
I don't understand. What did he win with that fist? Like, that's a winning. Throw up your fist for winning.
He just got a smooch from Molly Ringwald. Like, I would have thrown up my fist too.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
He just got a rock in his ear too. So he's like, I got a smooch from the most popular girl in high school, and I got a ring. What the hell? But yeah, and at their own risk, I did like Jonathan Bender's locker, where it says, "Do not open," or "Open if you want to die," and then the whole thing comes down and cuts off the shoe in half. I didn't notice that at first, but the shoe gets cut in half at the end. I was like, "Whoa, how's that shoe sticking out of that locker?"
Movie stuff.
Movie magic.
Movies.
And then they come to a screeching halt at a fence on their way back to the library, and Bender saves himself to save the group. I think it was pretty much just to impress Molly Ringwald, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
he wanted that earring.
I did like how he shoved that weed down his pants. He grabbed something down there because he was like elbow deep in that dude's pants. So.
He's like, let me feel around for something. Where's that? There we go. Yeah, a little happy dance right there for you.
And then Bender is caught in the gym trying to win a scholarship. So, and then he gets taken back to grab his stuff, and then he goes and gets locked in the closet, only to return through the ceiling because he forgot his pencil. Yep.
Classic Bender.
What do you think the ending of that joke was? But he was saying when he was crawling in the ceiling, because you don't get to hear the end.
Yeah, I tried to figure it out. I even wrote down a couple stupid, and I'm like, none of these are even funny. Then I looked it up, and apparently he straight improv that line, and there was no punchline to it whatsoever. And he couldn't even think of a punchline to it. So, so it's kind of one of those weird half jokes,
right?
And we should have Chris Harvey
a movie
joke
joke
for us.
Yeah,
yes,
a movie joke that doesn't have
Chris Harvey write the joke for us. And then we have the blazing scene where everyone goes in the back of the library and gets high, one by one. You knew that was going to happen, though. But Ally Sheedy's character kind of looked like that she was as shocked and all, like, everyone does this. Like she's the only one that has never done this.
It's Am I the only one that's first time watching this movie?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah.
This is your first time watching this movie?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I heard all about it. I know all the references. I just never watched it.
Yeah.
Have you watched it? Have you watched it more than that once, like 3 weeks ago when we were supposed to do the movie the first time?
Yeah. I think I watched it last week. Rewatched it last week. So I still remember it. That's why I'm just kind of listening, because a lot of this stuff I only watched it maybe 1.5 times.
Yeah, it's such a weird, it's just such a weird movie because, like Dan said, nothing really happens. And I can see it, I can definitely see it bringing back memories if you watch this at the right time in your life. Because this was sort of my high school experience. Because I did grow up in a small town, it was just a bunch of white people, and we were just we were all different, but it was just a bunch of middle-class white people. So it's definitely a very specific, middle small town, middle class, medium-sized high school experience. And I imagine that happened more often in the 80s than it did in sort of the mid 90s when I was in high school. And it's probably a lot less now. But yeah, this was a very typical high school experience I can definitely see people being like, yeah, this was my high school. So yeah, like a very
I expected high
specific
school to be like that. When I got there, it was completely different. Mind you, I went to a really weird high school that used to be French and English, and then because of Quebecness, didn't be French and English anymore. Quebec is really weird, stupidly weird at times. But yeah, my high school was both French and English, and then we had a referendum for Quebec to separate, and then the English fought the French, and the French fought the English. It's been going on for generations. Our history is nothing but English and French fighting each other for stupid reasons. And then they separated it, and I came in just as it was like the first year that was all English. So it was like they were trying to move over half the school into more English stuff. So taking down that stuff. So I didn't really have this weird, wacky high school experience like in The Breakfast Club and all those like high school movies that were out when I was growing up.
Yeah,
this-
it definitely wasn't like Detention though, because
No, our detention wasn't
like
Saturday.
Detention was everybody sitting at their separate tables, and if you tried to talk to somebody else, they were like, "Get the fuck away from me, you weirdo."
Yes. But yeah, like I went to two different schools, and they were polar opposites. Like the first school I went to for the majority of my life until my sophomore year, very cliquey. Like I said, there was your jocks, there was your nerds, and all that stuff, and they're very cliquey. But once I moved to Freeland, where I graduated, it was everyone was friends with everyone. Like everyone got along, everyone partied together, and that was pretty much the best times of my high school.
Not mine.
Yeah.
I watched this movie the year before. Well, I watched it when it pretty early on, whatever. But I watched it. I remember the year before I went to high school, and I'm like, cool, this is what high school is going to be like. But when I went to Newcastle, Delaware High School, William Penn High School, where
Name dropping.
Where cops patrol the hallways, and there's metal detectors to get into the doors, and there's like 2,200 people in a graduating class. It was like a prison. Like this was not like my school. My school had 5 cafeterias. It was ridiculous.
Fucking Alcatraz.
Nothing like my high school whatsoever.
Wow. Yeah.
Was it
I'm glad I didn't
were
grow
there
up in that
5
area.
floors or something? Like
There was 2 floors. The main hallway was a quarter mile long. There was like 5 football field. It was a huge school, and it was awful. Like such a bad school. Like there was, like I said, there was cops always patrolling the hallways. It was a bad place. Yeah, it was not cool. So not my high school whatsoever. This seemed like a really privileged high school where people get detention for taping butt cheeks together and having a flare in my locker. Like in my school, it was like, hey, this guy just got shot. Like this is crazy. Like somebody lit this car on fire. So
the worst I think we had was a banana with firecrackers and it explode in someone's locker. That was like the worst. And then when the newest principal came in, because our principals lasted 5 years, the new principal came in, he instituted a drug-free thing and like whipped out all the stoners. And then you would walk around every once in a while and see on the vents, Rosemere High, which is the school I went to, is a dry, help fund the weed. And you would be like, no, okay. Just keep walking. And that was it. Like, and we had this old lady who would walk the halls. We called her the Nan. You didn't fuck with the Nan because she was dangerous. But like anybody could beat her up. She was frail and old, but you were terrified of her. You were terrified of her because like you didn't know what would happen. It's like your grandmother. You're like, you don't want to piss off your grandmother. And all the cool kids were friends with her, like, but you didn't piss her off. She was scary. Right. It was my high school.
Yeah,
now,
so it seems like our breakfast club here also had a bunch of different experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to school.
The breakfast club in real life.
This is our breakfast club.
I mean, there is 5 of us.
Everyone's
There's
gonna pop in
there's
randomly
2
as the
Emilio
president.
Estevez's and 2 Ali Sheedys.
And a Brian.
And a Brian.
Yep.
I'm okay with being called Brian. I'll live with it.
Phil Bryan.
Phil Bryan. Now, back to the part where they were smoking in the library. I just want to know what was in Emilio Estevez's joint. What was that fucking thing laced with? Because this dude went off the rails. He just smoked the joint and then just started jazzercising all the way across the fucking library and then broke a window.
As a hot sativa is what it was.
Oh, Jesus, man. At least with some Coke or something. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it had to be laced with some shit because I've never had that much energy smoking.
I had a friend who every time he smoked weed, he called it weed rage because he would get very angry, like he just drank a half a bottle of tequila. And I didn't believe him until I actually saw it.
Like, did you provide him with the weed, or
No.
did he have his own weed?
No, he did his, like, he got his own weed. Like,
So it
he
had to
was
be laced with
always
some
high,
shit.
but he was always angry while he was high, and I don't understand.
He sounds cool.
Hey man,
Yeah,
don't put that
no,
on Mary
he was-
Jane, man. He's got personal problems.
Yeah,
That's
that's
understandable.
not on the weed, bro. Yeah.
Yep.
It ain't
Maybe see
weed.
a psychiatrist or something.
Yeah. Imagine him without the weed though.
Yeah, wow. Like those kids in high school, I had a couple of friends that were prescribed Ritalin, and these kids were just bouncing off the walls. I'm like, I thought Ritalin was supposed to calm you down, but didn't. I don't know.
Nah,
Who knows?
Again, that's something that works differently in everyone,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't work at all.
That
And
is
then-
true.
And then Ally Sheedy decides to dump her purse on the couch after they tell her not to, because they don't want to see what's in her purse, and then she does it anyway. And then there's a whole story about how she needs to run away because she's unsatisfied with her family life. Now, I think as high schoolers, I think we were all unsatisfied with our home life. Am I correct? Or no?
Yeah.
Am I the
mean,
only one?
No, I definitely was very unsatisfied. I moved out of my house the day I turned 18 because my parents were actually on vacation. I moved out into my own apartment without telling my parents about it because I hated my teenage life. It was not cool.
Like, yeah,
Wow.
my life, it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't leave, run away from home or anything like that. But it's just, I really didn't do anything. If I didn't stay after school for basketball practice, I didn't go. If my grandparents never took me to my games, so it was just the guy that hung out after school for practice and games. So, and we have Carl and Principal Vernon having a heart-to-heart in the basement over some confidential.
Oof.
I think Dan unplugged his
Okay, it wasn't just me.
microphone.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, you went out for a sec.
Wait, I think you're.
Am I still there?
Yeah,
Yeah, now you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
something got unplugged or something.
Right after heart to heart, you went out.
Yeah, the Carl and Mr. Vernon had a heart-to-heart in the basement, and while he figured this out, because when you're a kid in high school, you're just like, I want to be a teacher because you get summer breaks off, spring break off, Christmas break off, and then you realize that when he was in the closet yelling at Bender, he goes, I make $31,000 a year and I have a home. I'm not about to lose that. Like, I make more than $31,000 a year. Like, geez, I don't know about back in the 80s, but was that rich back then? I have no clue.
It was a decent salary.
Yeah, it was
Comfortable.
fine. Back in
Yeah.
the 80s, you could afford a house on $31,000
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
And cocaine. You could get cocaine with the house as well.
Cocaine.
31. Yeah, cocaine.
I think
Cocaine
that
in
was
the
just an
80s is nothing
joke.
cocaine.
Yeah, I
It
think
was a
I think
horrible
that was-
joke.
Yeah, it
It's a
was
horrible
a
joke.
that. Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah,
oh
he got it.
boy. Yep.
And now,
Phil doesn't know how to point.
No, I don't.
We're all
It's all
very
the
bad at
cocaine.
it.
it's all opposite. It's just opposite ways.
Yeah,
I know.
if you would have watched on Friday, you would have seen that Zach nor I know how to point on the camera.
Never.
I
Never
can only
can
point
do
out
it.
Never.
Never.
And then we have this part. I think it's like one of the last. We're creeping to the end here, guys. Sorry, but we have this part where they all decide to sit in a circle and pretty much yell at Molly. It's pretty much just John yelling at Molly the entire time, telling her how overprivileged she is, and then her crying. And then Allie, everyone comes clean about how they went there on Saturday, how they got their detention. Then we already talked about that, and that's pretty much it about the movie.
Yeah. Now
That's pretty much it.
I had a question
Whoa.
that somebody poses in the movie. But what would you do if you were like independently wealthy and you didn't have to work?
Oh, if you had $1 million, or what?
Yeah, if you had $1 million,
what would you do for $1 million or something like that? Because I think
no. I think it was if you had $1 million, what would you do?
And I drive to school naked. I wouldn't go to school if I had $1 million. So.
Are we talking $1 million in our time
now.
or in 1980?
Yeah, I mean $1 million is still, if you're not, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it would still take, that would still give you a couple of years without having to worry about anything. So if you had $1 million in, let's say, 5 years that you didn't have to do anything to earn any more money, what would you do?
I'd invest half in stocks.
Oh my Christ almighty, Phil. Can you be fucking
smart about it at least?
I'm smart, man. I'm making my money last. No, I would probably buy a fucking stupid car and a stupid house. That's stupidly expensive for no reason. That's what I would do. The stupid part of me would do that because it's the fun part. But the smart part would invest half of it into stocks so that it would grow and I would make my money back and I wouldn't have to ever work again. You know how much?
What about CDs? Like $20,000 CDs? Can you do that too? Make some money back.
You guys are missing the point of this exercise.
I would easily.
Wrong answer, Michael.
I would give Dylan probably $25,000 and I would ask him to take a month off of work and we would make as many movies as possible. And we would, but I wouldn't give him a lot of money. I'd make sure he was like able to live, but not be like very happy. That way he'd feel the need to like really work hard for me and not like his company. But then we would really just churn out some movies and really just make a dent where we were trying to. So Zach gets the point of this exercise. What do you want to do? I'm
already doing what I want to do.
It's not about the money. What would you do if you didn't have to go to work and spend 8 hours a day there, 45, 50 hours a week?
But I'm already doing what I love. I run my own business.
I would masturbate, play video games, and smoke weed all day.
See, Dan gets the point of the exercise. Stop being so fucking like.
I'm waiting for
Will
the
you
word.
just be fun for a second?
Dude, he would buy a second Roadcaster and have them chirp at each other, and he would just giggle to himself and look at stock
Great.
like just look at the stock mountains all day, just like, oh, look at these mountains of stock fake money. Look at these. What are those things called? The stock things? What are they? Numbers?
The graph charts?
Charts.
Number
Whatever.
Graph, numbers, money.
Money.
You're just
fucking
upset
fake
that
anyway.
I'm doing already what I love. I'm making money doing it.
Whatever. You got a $9 Target t-shirt on talking about doing the things you love doing. Get out. You have 9 podcasts telling people how to make money.
I love you, Phil. And that brings us to the end of the movie, guys, where everyone says goodbye to each other.
But Jerian didn't tell us what he would do if he didn't have to work for a couple of years.
Three things.
Yeah.
Castle, cannabis company. Damn, I had a third one. I had it all lined up. Yeah, I would. I would buy a castle for my house, a cannabis company, and like some type of media broadcasting place, something like that.
Dude, Castle. What a great idea.
Yeah,
I gotta write that down.
That's always like, yeah, whenever I think about like what I would do when I won the lottery, Castle's always part of it. And then like,
what a cool
like an old school castle, like with no drywall or
like
insulation,
a big ass castle, and then like a bunch of houses for like my friends to live in for free, and they could come and hang out at the castle, but they can't live in the castle with me. They live in their own houses.
Either, Michael. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that
but during the day, man, you can hang out at my castle all day long.
I would just buy a bunch of RVs and just have them parked on like a dirt road somewhere, and just name it like a trailer park or something.
And then where would your
RV Dale Trailer Park? Just have all my friends hang out. That'd be great.
If you have a bunch of RVs parked in front of your castle, though, that's going to bring down the property value.
Yeah, I now you're upsetting
Build a
me.
moat.
See, my castle's got a moat, so you're not going to be anywhere near.
Oh,
Gotta get
You
the
gotta
moat.
build a moat.
Yeah, there's
Crocodiles
a
or
moat,
have
sharks?
there's a
Crocodiles
moat
and
between the trailer park and the castle.
wow,
Like,
now
fucking
there's
yeah.
capitalism wrapped up in one image.
Yeah,
A moat around a castle with a trailer park right
With a trailer
outside.
park
but
right
you
there.
own all of it. If you own all of it, it's not capitalism. It's just yours, whatever.
Yeah,
my
but I
moat.
mean, just that
I own all of
visual.
this.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. And now, all right, now we have the end of the movie where everyone says goodbye to each other. Judd Nelson gets a kick-ass earring, and I don't know what Molly Ringwald got. What did she get of Judd Nelson's? The scarf? Red
Hepatitis.
Hepatitis.
Yeah, his
I was going to
herpes.
say an STD, but
Syphilis.
yeah, hepatitis works.
Definitely a couple bruises and like a need to talk to somebody
Yeah.
because she was sexually assaulted.
Yeah, for
'cause
sure.
he definitely had his face in between her legs. So who
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
what was
that
going
was-
on with her?
Yeah, that was an uncomfortable scene.
Yeah. Immediately afterwards, though, he goes and sparks up a doobie, and she's just like,
Yeah.
this. Like, you for what you got, you owe me, motherfucker.
Yeah,
You got a lot more than I got.
And Ally Sheedy rips a patch off of Emilio Estevez's coat, which would have pissed me off. And then
Yeah,
he got a
That
sweater.
whole thing sucked. That makeover and then her going after the jock, like that whole thing just fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's pretty now that she's got her hair done and her makeup and
Yeah.
she's wearing a pink shirt. Like, fucking stop it.
Complete makeover in the back of
Yeah.
the library with a stencil,
Fucking
a
ridiculous.
stencil and a ruler. Here is cover your hair with this. And did you notice that when she was brushing Ally Sheedy's eyebrows, it was the same brush that Judd Nelson was brushing his teeth with?
Ew.
Oh,
Oh, my.
got
Great
him.
stuff. Great stuff.
Ugh.
That's why she's being nice to you, because I can't use this anymore.
Now she has eye herpes because
Classic,
We just got canceled that quick. First,
Got herpes in your eyes.
dude.
All right, everybody, let's do some
High
reels
school.
and get the hell out of here. Get this Breakfast Club over with. We'll start off with Zach here. What many reels you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this movie, like I said, like the only way to make this movie a lot better is if this were an origin story for a superhero thing. Like if they all had to come into the Breakfast Club for something, because they don't really eat breakfast; they only eat lunch. I don't understand why it's called that, and
Lunch
nothing.
Club would make no sense.
The lunch club.
Yeah, I guess
well,
Breakfast
the
Club.
Breakfast Club makes no sense either.
Yeah, they're there for 9 hours. That's all meals technically, especially in my world. It's like 10 meals. But either way, upon rewatching it, I will say that it's slightly better than I remember it. But I'm gonna put it exactly in the middle of the thing. I'm gonna say that it is a 5 reels, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. What about you,
Yeah.
Mr. Michael Colby?
I'm gonna say it's slightly one reel better than like an average movie, just because, like I said, this was sort of my high school experience boiled down into 5 people. This was middle class, white suburban high school. Just yeah. In 5 people, but it was the 5 cliques that were in my high school. The jocks were the biggest one. I went to a school where soccer was the big sport,
Wow.
so it was soccer.
Were you in
jocks.
Europe?
yeah.
No, Pennsylvania.
What the hell?
Oh, you might as well be
Dutch.
in Europe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean the art kids, and then like the
punk
bullies and the popular rich kids, they were all there. The smart kids, there was like 3 of them in our dumb jock school. But this was pretty much a high school experience for me, and I didn't really appreciate reliving that because high school was a terrible time, and I didn't like it, and I'm not super fond of this movie. If everybody wasn't so nice to look at, it would have been much, much worse.
Fair.
So yeah,
Alright.
it was high school with better looking people than we had in high school.
Nice.
Fair.
Ooh, Space Jam on Friday too. That's nice. Sorry guys, I'm reading the comments. My bad.
Such a host. Yeah, I'm giving this. I'm gonna jump out a 7. It has a good place because I remember enjoying it and looking forward to it. I'm like, oh god, that's gonna be my high school experience, yay! And then it being crushingly different. All you Americans have apparently amazing high school years. Your movies say you do, okay? Your
Apparently, I'm
movies
the
say.
only one.
But Canadian high schools were like totally different. We didn't have any metal detectors, anything like that. We just had an old lady walking around, so it didn't really remind me too much of high school. But watching again, it is a time. It is of its time. It's a different world now, so you couldn't really make that movie again. I don't think so. Just 7. It was okay. It was okay.
Mr. Jerry and Blaze, how about you, sir?
I got to give it a big 7, man. I loved it. I love 80s movies, man. So this was a good movie. I had a good high school experience. I really can't complain. I went to a big ass high school. It's like the second biggest in Texas. Very prestigious. So, I mean, I don't know. I liked it. It reminded me a lot of the high school days I had, which were good for me. So if you didn't have good high school days, I understand why you didn't like the movie. But if you did, brought back a lot of fond memories. Definitely an 80s classic. I can see why everybody loves it so much.
And I guess that leaves me. I'm going to give this an 8.5 because it is one of my favorite movies. I watched it 10 times in the last 2 weeks. I probably won't watch it again for like another month, but then it'll work its way back into my rotation. But an 8.5, like I said, it's reminded me of high school. Like everything about high school, even the good and the bad, like everything about it. So that's why it's one of my favorite movies. And I guess everyone can say goodbye and do their shits. Like I'm Dan Levely. I'll do my shits first. I'm Dan Levely. It was Coffee Smoking every Saturday night live 9 p.m. EST, and bet that 9 p.m. EST every Thursday, and also here. You know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Tool time? Is it tool time?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Zach Wiseman. You can see me on all the Some Nobody stuff with Dylan Terry, mostly somenobodies.com. Mondays and Fridays, Real Boys, one of my favorite shows ever. We could chat with Dylan on Tuesdays where he writes stuff and I read it out loud. But yeah, and then Wednesdays, No Time to Binge, which is a very weird show where we don't watch the middle of stuff. And yeah, that's it.
A very weird show indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's mostly because of my partner, Matt Deterior, who's an insane person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you should definitely watch that show also because it's very fun. And if you want to see some more insanity from my partner, Matt, Jack Billings presents Me and My Neighbor Michael, and Jack Billings presents Haunted Apartment Complex will be starting soon. I Love This Terrible Game is my video game show, and then I have a music show with my very own human real life child. It's called Generation Clash, where we listen to each other's music and try to make each other like the bands that we like, which is easier than I expected it to be.
Your child's winning, isn't it? Your child's winning this game.
No. No. It's not a competition. We're actually trying to get the other one to like it instead of like baiting each other like this show seems to be sometimes.
It's all in love. It's all love. I hope at least.
No, that's on my end. It is, yeah.
It's not like we have. It's not like we're trying to get each other to watch Boondock Saints around on that show.
Oh my gosh! Can we just watch this movie and get that over with, please?
I wish we could. Let's get this fucking over with. All right, I'm done with my plugs.
You're done? Okay. I am Phil Better. I'm the podcast mogul. I host 4 podcasts currently: the Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur podcast, the Phil Better Show, Better Pain, a wrestling podcast, and Stock Dirty to Me. I am currently live streaming, doing a challenge, 30-day live stream of creating a new show for podcasters, as well as a lead generation podcast for my buddy, so that he could get some business. So yeah, if you're interested in learning how to create a podcast or monetize your podcast, check me out at Podcaster Feel Better on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, Jerry and Blaze, the Cloud Chronicles podcast. Bet that with Dan and Jerry. And on Thursdays, Real Boys here. Stay tuned for the Cloud Chronicles 1 year anniversary. Check out exclusive episodes of Cloud Chronicles on VizD Network. Peace.
Yeah, and don't forget, this Friday we have Space Jam 2. Which
the second one.
Yeah, part 2, which is with LeBron James, who's I guess a good basketball player, right?
You could call him the Michael Jordan maybe of this generation.
No,
I would.
No,
as
he
a
the Scottie
casual
Pippen?
basketball, as a casual basketball fan, he's great. I like what he does for his community, and I think he's a good actor. So I don't see what the hate for LeBron James is. I think he's cool as hell.
It's a sports thing.
It's because he's not MJ. That's why.
Has everyone here seen Space Jam, the first one?
Yes.
Oh, like thousands of times.
Religiously.
I just watched it the other day with my son. Loves it.
It doesn't age well.
It doesn't age well.
I'm excited for the next one. But yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you Friday.
Bye, guys.
Friday. Bye.
Bye.